I've decided to keep a journal, not in a word program or digital file, but in longhand. Writing every word out so that every inflection of penmanship, every word chosen, scratched out, revised, is recorded. To set down all my thoughts and the simple events of my day factually and without hiding anything. When writing about oneself, one should show no mercy. I will keep this diary for 1 year, 12 months. And at the end of that time, it will be destroyed, shredded, then burnt. The experiment will be over.
With his precious blood.
These thoughts and recollections are not so different from those I confide to God every morning. When it is possible. When he is listening. This journal is a form of speaking, of communication from one to the other. A communication which can be achieved simply and in repose without prostration or abnegation. It is a form of prayer. I assisted Sunday, the youth group at Abundant Life. The young people were so excited, so full of life. They were open, they welcomed communion. Maybe I shouldn't care about whether people like me. Did Jesus worry about being liked? I look at the last lines I wrote with disdain. 12 months. Can I keep up an exercise that long? When I read these words, I see not truth, but pride. I wish I had not used the word pride, but I cannot cross it out. If only I could pray. He went on like that for some time. By 2050, sea levels 2 feet higher on the East Coast. Low-lying areas underwater across the world. Bangladesh, 20% loss of landmass. Central Africa, 50% reduction in crops due to drought. The western reservoirs dried up, climate change, refugees, epidemics, extreme weather. I felt like I was Jacob wrestling all night long with the angel, fighting in the grasp. Every sentence, every question, every response a mortal struggle. It was exhilarating. I went over everything that was said, what should have been said, what could have been said differently, what could have been said better. I know that nothing can change, and I know there is no hope. Thomas Merton wrote this. Despair is a development of pride so great that it chooses one's certitude rather than admit God is more creative than we are. Perhaps it's better I didn't say that to him. Some are called for their gregariousness. Some are called for their suffering. Others are called for their loneliness. They are called by God because through the vessel of communication, they can reach out and hold beating hearts in their hands. They are called because of their all-consuming knowledge of the emptiness of all things that can only be filled by the presence of our Savior. My petty ailments have made me bad-tempered. I fight the urge not to write down the thoughts which come to my mind. The desire to pray itself is a type of prayer. How often we ask for genuine experience when all we really want is emotion. My hands shake as I write these lines. I stayed while she called her sister. Her sister was going to drive down. Her parents would come for the final rites. Terrible night. No sooner than I shut my eyes, desolation came upon me. What is one's last thought as you pull the trigger? There goes my head. Or, Jesus, watch over me. Or neither. I'm going to tear these pages out. This journal brings me no peace. Self-pity. Nothing more. All those mighty men of God, servants of the cross, years of service, baptisms, confessions, funerals, sermons, the hours in prayer, the afflictions suffered. Did God give them strength? The man who says nothing always seems more intelligent. Why couldn't I just keep silent? Mary and I rode the park trail. I had not ridden a bicycle, I think, in 20 years. I was afraid I would fall. It's amazing the simple curative power of exercise. It's God-given. Into our heart. I held her hand. I spoke, and the words came out of my mouth. By thy words you shall be justified, and by thy words you shall be condemned. I can no longer ignore my health. I've postponed my checkup too often. Yesterday, I could literally barely stand. I suddenly feel much better. I awoke early, clear-headed, and immediately set about my daily tasks. The nations raged, but your wrath came, and the time for the dead to be judged, and for rewarding your servants and prophets and saints, and for those who fear your name, both small and great, and for destroying the destroyers of the earth. Revelations 11:18. I've removed the previous pages. They were written in a delirium. But I am determined to continue. It's hard to struggle against torpor. I must set pen to paper. Be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God, so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world. Every act of preservation is an act of creation. Everything preserved renews creation. It's how we participate in creation. I have found another form of prayer.